So my initial reaction is it's scary. But digging into it yesterday and looking at all the other AI applications that are out there, I think some can be helpful, and I think some have a purpose, and I think some are just a shortcut, for some people who maybe aren't as seasoned or talented or whatever to get what they need out of a songwriting session, or being a songwriter, or being a musician. And that being said, I think it's something that we all need to think about moving forward.
Hey you guys, what's up? My name is Asha Blaine, and today I'll be having a discussion with two of my musician friends here from Denver, Colorado. We have Anthony Ants Trujillo and Danny Martinez Jr., and we play live music, we write our own music, and we will be having a discussion today on the future of songwriting and AI. So we came across a video last week that we all had some opinions and reactions to. So we're going to be having a live discussion about that. After this intro, I will post what the video is that we're going to react to, and then we'll jump into our reaction. So stick around. We also have some fun little things that we are promoting within the video as well. So make sure you stick around, watch the whole video to the end. Please let us know in the comments below what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree with us? Let us know, and let us know if there's any other topics that you want us to talk about, music related. So hope you enjoy the show.
Let's make a full song with Sunno AI, something like this.
Cause it was love at first sight. Couldn't believe my eyes.
To get started, let's go to their website, app.sunno.ai. Log in with your Discord or Google account. I'll log in with Google and we will get this interface. On the left pane, you will see a few options. Click on Create Custom. Here you can enter your song lyrics. Don't worry, if you don't have your own lyrics, just write the song idea or what the song should be about, and the AI will write the lyrics for you. In this box where it says Style of Music, write the genre or the style of the music. For example, I want a song about a catchy pop song about falling in love at first sight. I want the style of music as pop music, and click on Generate Lyrics. Wait a couple of seconds for the AI to generate the lyrics. And just like that, the song lyrics are ready, and click on Generate button. We can see here that the AI has started creating two versions of the songs here. Once it's done, click on the play button to listen to it. Let's check the first sample.
I was walking down the street, minding my own business. When I saw you, it was like a dream, a perfect vision.
Now let's check the second version.
I was walking down the street, minding my own business. Cause it was love at first sight. Couldn't believe my eyes. Just one smile, now I'm falling in love.
So cool. Let's react. You guys go ahead. What do you think, Danny, of all of the future of songwriting with AI included? What do you think about that?
Well, I think, just a knee-jerk reaction is that it's sort of a scary prospect. The video that I saw the other day that I forwarded to Ants showed lyrics, music, style of music, all being reproduced in a matter of seconds, with just a few inputs of some keywords and things like that. And I thought to myself, my goodness, we're out of jobs, because it was really good. The finished product of what it was really good. So that was scary to me. And then Ants and I got to talking about it, and obviously brought you on it, and I thought it would be an interesting topic to talk about. So my initial reaction is it's scary. But digging into it yesterday and looking at all the other AI applications that are out there, I think some can be helpful, and I think some have a purpose, and I think some are just a shortcut, for some people who maybe aren't as seasoned or talented or whatever to get what they need out of a songwriting session, or being a songwriter, or being a musician. And that being said, I think it's something that we all need to think about moving forward.
Agreed. Yeah. And Danny, you're a seasoned songwriter. Is that correct?
Well, I don't know. We've been doing it for a long time, the both of us. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's why it was a good idea to have this conversation, because we're all songwriters in Denver, and
right.
it's very interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What about you, Ants? When you saw this, when Danny sent this to you, what did you think?
Yeah, my first reaction, it kind of made me mad. I'm like, oh man, all this time that we've all, the struggle of writing songs, which, for those people out there that don't write songs, it's not easy. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of endurance. It's a lot of, no, I don't like that, doing this and that. And it just takes, and me personally, I feel like I'm still learning. I feel like, every time I try to write a song or I'm getting inspired, I feel like I've never written a song before. But yeah, the initial reaction, it kind of made me mad. I'm like, man, it kind of took away all those years and everybody else's years prior to us, all of our heroes and influences that spent the time and put in the time and energy to work on their craft of songwriting. It almost just kind of took that away from them and made it easy for the person that's, the new musician out there that wants to get into songwriting, or even somebody that just like, oh, I want to write a song, but they're not really musicians, and they just, like Danny said, type in a couple keywords and boom, you have a pop rock song, 2000s or 80s or what, pick your genre.
And I'm not sure how that works as far as copywriting goes. Do you? I mean, with an AI generator, you punch in a few things, it comes out with a song. Are you now a songwriter? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the other
Because
thing.
you type in a few words, you're now a songwriter. And the scary thing is that the finished product was so good. It was really good. And I thought, oh man, this is trouble.
That's what scared me too, was that like when I first listened to that, I was like, this is actually really good. It's really catchy. It could be on the radio. And this is like better than something I could come up with, like in a matter of a month or whatever. But yeah, like I thought that was, it's tricky,
Mhm.
and how can you, as an artist, as a creative person who actually does want to write music, how can you be like authentic? Like, even like you just write in keywords and it comes up with this whole story. Like it doesn't even, like, it's a robot's story. It's not even your own expression of your own story that you like would have, written out, so I don't, it's so weird. I don't like it.
So yeah, you felt the same way we did.
Yeah, well, because I also think there's, like what Ants was just saying, there's like some grit and tenacity too in like completing a product, because I think that also too, or a project, I think that also too as an artist, it's hard, like when you're first starting, when you're first learning, you sometimes come to these stops or you don't finish a song, and so when you actually finish songs from start to end, it feels good, it feels gratifying, and then it actually pushes you to do more. Maybe you didn't start out very good and then you actually get better over time, and it's just like you could have like no experience and then put out like one of the best songs because you used AI. It's just, it doesn't seem fair. There's like a sense of like laziness involved, I think, and again, no sense of authenticity at all in what you're doing.
Right. And but one of the other parameters is, how does your average person differentiate what somebody has written and recorded themselves versus an AI generated something? You know what I mean? So now that's what we're faced with, because it used to be like you could tell, oh, that's a machine drum, or oh, that's a looped guitar or something like that. But now your average person to go, man, that's a great song. And then you as a songwriter are thinking, oh, well, I'm out of work now because it's so easy for anyone to do it.
Yeah, and it's also, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think it's gonna cater to the younger crowd, like our, like my young niece and nephews, and even probably Ash's kids, even Danny's kids. I think that genre will probably kind of take it and run. And I think it'll be popular, but I think after a while, everything, like, it's going to start sounding the same. You're not going to hear the humanity in songwriting, the labor. It's just going to sound real artificial. But I think now we're at a day and age where we're kind of at that point where our attention span, it's like 30 seconds, and then everybody's, swiping their phone to look at the next video or the next TikTok, the next
Yep.
reel or whatever.
Yep.
I think, me and Danny's age demographic, I think they're wise enough to see through the BS and think like, no, this is like, you could tell, they still, our age demographic, they tend to still like to come out to see the live performance and all that.
Yeah.
And whereas I don't think that's going to happen 20, 30 years from now with the younger generation, because, who's going to play this music, unless you're at a laptop or an iPad and you just hit play and then the music comes on. And I think there's going to be a hunger for seeing the live performer. And that's why I always tell people, like, if I give guitar lessons to somebody, or if I hear somebody starting out singing, playing whatever, it's like, the live musician, it's becoming a dying art form. And I think if kids stick with it, playing an instrument and developing their craft, whether it's songwriting, singing, guitar playing, whatever, I think they're going to stick out in the crowd later on in life as this artificial AI music, gets popular.
Yeah, and it also has to do with just people, how they consume nowadays too. Like it's like they almost don't care if it's AI or a real person. And they just want to hear something good or whatever makes them feel good, whatever. So that's some of it too, is how people are receiving it. But have you guys seen the voice AI, where you can like talk and say a few words and the AI can make like this whole paragraph for you, and it mimics your voice?
Yeah.
And so like, even with singers, like, say if I wanted to actually use this AI thing, create a song and have it use my voice, like I could just say a few words and it would input like my actual voice, my tonality, my vibrato that it picks up, and put it throughout the whole song. And it's like, I'm not even singing it. I'm not even actually performing it into a microphone. It's just generating my voice for me. It's so strange.
Yeah, I haven't seen it actually, but I've heard of it, and that's another scary thing. Again, with all the AI stuff, there's a good side and a bad side, kind of nefarious way that it could, it could work for you and it can work against you in all aspects, I think. And that's a hard one, because I mean, you could I mean, any of the rock stars or musicians that have passed, great vocalists, could be on a new song, could, be writing new music with their voice, so, and it's only getting better, and it's getting better. The scary thing is it's getting better exponentially at a rate that's just, within a year's time, it's getting so much better that, I don't know where, where it goes or where it ends or where it ends up. I don't know.
Yeah, where it ends up is interesting to think about.
Oh, it's too much for my brain to think about.
Yeah. And I'm kind of glad this didn't come out like when Danny and I were out of high school, and, we had the whole world in front of us, being, gypsies, traveling in a bus, playing all over the place, writing songs, writing albums and all that. And I'm really glad that this wasn't around 30 years ago.
I wonder.
Yeah. It seems like very easy, you don't need a band anymore. You just need one person to do all or one robot really, to do all the things for you.
And not only that, that's kind of like where we're at. A lot of people want to be YouTubers. A lot of people want to do, Instagram performances on there, and I don't know what the monetary thing is, like if you blow up on either one of those platforms, but and who's to say that some of that could be AI generated as well. I mean, you don't know if that person is legitimately singing or playing, or if that's their song or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's the scary thing.
That's been the knock on that stuff, is there's some people, very young kids playing guitar, and you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's shredding, but you don't know if they're really doing it, or if they are playing it live, if they've recorded it and they're just miming it. That's kind of been the knock on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. I think like it seems like maybe during COVID, that's when people started to pick up on that stuff. They started to do more like video and like
Yeah.
just being themselves busy and stuff like that, which I get. I totally started doing that on my YouTube channel. But then I started getting more into doing live vocal performances because I wanted to prove or to show like I'm really doing this,
Yeah.
even if it's not supremely perfect. I'm doing this, I'm putting an effort, I'm taking the time to learn a song, to accurately nail it as best as I can. A lot of times I do covers, and stuff. So I do think that that's like some people can overlook that because they're so used to hearing like such perfection, or even like auto tuning. I remember when auto tune came out, people were like, oh my gosh, freaking
Oh,
out
yeah.
because it's not their real voice. But
Oh,
now
yeah.
it's actually like that's in all music, and it's in all like production. It's just normal to auto tune someone's voice.
Right.
I used to get like annoyed if people were like, you weren't perfect on that, and I'm like, well, I was pretty damn close, and I didn't use auto tune. So this is me doing an entire take, without any like robots trying to help me out.
And not only that, but you're not supposed to be perfect. You're supposed to have like those little flaws. It's I've always thought like rock and roll was like, it's like being on a roller coaster. It's supposed to be dangerous. You never know if you're going to jack up or whatever, or tank a bad note on guitar or whatever. Those little flaws. I think that's what makes us who we are as singers,
Yeah, I think
players.
totally. Yeah, I think that's the endearing part of being a musician, playing live, and even recording, is some of your favorite recordings you listen to. You hear the little mistake, or you hear the little pop, or the little this or the little that it's human. And that's, when we were in the studio, Bobby would always tell us, our old manager producer would tell us, the performance wasn't up to snuff, but the feel is so good on that take. We have to keep that because the feel was there on that part. And then you listen to your favorite music, and you're like, man, those are the things that you listen for, is the little nuances and the little mistakes, or the little things that were the imperfections that make it endearing. It's not just a robot doing it. That's perfect. And I think that's the difference. So hopefully this is something new that everyone will jump on and think it's great, but then they'll come back. It's kind of like vinyl.
That's exactly
like vinyl was, then CDs are the latest thing, and then now vinyl's resurging again because there's a warmth about it, something about it that's nostalgic, and something you can't get from a CD.
Yeah. I think people want things so quickly and conveniently.
Right.
But then they also watch shows like, America's Got Talent or The Voice to see actual live people doing something incredible without any help. And like, also that's the thing too, is like people want to see a person singing something live. And if you have something computer generated, AI generated, how are you going to like, that takes preparation to sing. Like, yeah, you can sing it in your bedroom all day long, but to actually sing it in front of people, like you guys are live musicians as well. You play out constantly. Like, what it means to have the courage to do that in front of people all the time. Like, it's not easy all the time. So there is like massive respect for playing and being vulnerable in front of people, because people want to see that. That's how they connect, is through that. I think the vulnerability,
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think that's great. I think that's part of the roller coaster thing that Ansa's talking about. is you're supposed to feel that as a musician, and that's a great way to put it. That's the connection between the audience member and the person on stage. And I know that when we learn something new or something I'm not familiar with, there's a portion of me that still gets the butterflies and gets nervous and is like, oh, here we go, oh boy, and I don't want to let those three guys down. I don't want the audience to know that I'm not, no, that I'm nervous about it. But that's the fun of it, and that's how you know that you're still alive and you're still performing live in front of somebody. So that's a great way to put it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I love that you said that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
so
because not only that, but AI doesn't get nervous. AI doesn't feel those butterflies. And then that's where that, the lack of humanity or the lack of being human, I think that's where that comes from. I think people will eventually catch on, like, okay, this isn't real. This is like, artificial.
yeah. Well, and also like, okay, so say you have an artist that's creating something from AI. They tell themselves like, I'm gonna make music and I'm gonna do it through AI. Like, where's the growth in who you are as an artist? If you truly want to be creative and truly create something really well and with like dignity and integrity, like knowing that you put that out there, like where's the growth? Because I know that when I first started, I sucked, frankly, and I had to get better. And so I can stand, a lot more firm or have more confidence in my creativity or maybe the direction that I want to go or even the words that I want to speak. I just get more of a foundation of that for myself. And that to me feels a lot more gratifying than if, I'm sitting in my room having a robot do the work for me. And I don't know, I don't feel like there's any kind of growth in that as a person.
Right.
Yeah, there's not. It's not. You can't replicate that, no matter what. You just can't replicate that.
Here's a thought. Let's say you're a songwriter, you're stuck on a song. You have an idea. You might have a couple chords, but you don't know where to go, which direction to go. And you're just writer's block. You're just at a wall. What if you type in those little phrases for AI? Could you use that to inspire you to write a song?
Which is great, because I wrote down a few that I looked at yesterday, which are songwriting tools, right?
Right.
So, how do you differentiate between what is too much help and what is a normal songwriter's help? So I've always had a thesaurus with me as a songwriter, because I need a different word for this, or I need a rhyming dictionary. So I had a rhyming dictionary and a thesaurus that always went with me everywhere, because if I got stuck, I wanted something,
right,
something to jar me loose from where I was at.
Right.
So there's a few really good ones out there that I looked at yesterday. Something called Lyric Lab and something called Moises. They combine rhyming dictionaries, thesauruses, etc. They also use lyric suggestions and phrase suggestions, so you can build a song. So it's basically like a co-writer. It's the same thing as you would be with a person in the room co-writing something. You bounce ideas off something. So what they spit back out at you may not be what you're looking for, but you're exchanging ideas with something rather than someone. So, is that where we draw the line? Is that, what it is, as far as using AI to help you as a songwriter?
But is that any different than, say, you're writing lyrics and then you're like, frick, I don't know what to say after this, and then you start looking at your favorite artist lyric sheets on the album, on the back of albums or cassettes or CDs, and that might take you a little longer to sift through all that versus what you just said. Just type it up and it instantaneously gives you some ideas. I mean, is there a difference in that? Or
I don't know. That's the question.
Is it good or bad?
What do you think?
You're just, it's almost like a time saver though, too. I mean, if you're using it to further your idea or to inspire you, maybe not necessarily to use exactly what they're saying, but if it inspires you to like maybe look at it a different way, I don't know, would that be okay? Yeah, it's a fine line.
Are you asking?
No, I'm just throwing it out there. It's like, hypothetically speaking,
I really like what Danny said. I do the same thing. I go to a thesaurus dictionary. If I don't know what a word means, but I wanna put in another descriptive word, I'm going to
Yeah.
look up that word so
Yeah.
that I know what it
Yeah.
means, rather like if an AI is throwing in words in your music that you don't know what it means, that does not make any sense, that you don't even know what you're talking about. So
Right.
I think it's okay to you should be utilizing the English dictionary. We speak English, so you should be going to your grammar tools for that. Totally.
Right.
I don't think that that's cheating. I think that if you don't know something, it's okay to go find out and then put it into context.
Yeah.
That's just language, But if you're, I also think too that sometimes, so to what Anthony was saying about looking at the artist's album lyrics and seeing what they're saying. So I personally gravitate towards a mixture of Amy Lee from Evanescence and Hayley Williams Paramore. Their vocabulary in their music, like I like their specific vocabulary. So I might draw inspiration from what I've remembered from them
Yep.
and kind of come up with my own thing. And I think that that's okay because you are inspired by your classic, heroes, and that is how music evolves, is we
Right.
hear what somebody else did and we're like, oh
Yep.
my gosh, love that. And I want to, like, I'm putting my own thing on it. But to steal lyrics or to steal, like, an artist is going to like Paramore, she's going to use a lyric that I might want to put in something I'm doing too, but it doesn't have to be in the same chord progression. It doesn't have to be
Right.
in the same phrasing.
Right.
I think
Right.
that's okay.
Yeah. No, and those people that you're inspired by were inspired by someone that they did the same thing, and they were inspired by, and so on. And so you just build off of it as a songwriter, and somebody after us will do the same thing. So I think that's just the evolution of it.
Totally. Like, for example, in terms of a vocal inspiration, how many people were so incredibly inspired by Robert Plant that everyone in the 80s decided to copy him?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Or tried to
Yeah.
mimic his style,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
but still
Yeah.
made it their own music, and people still
Sure.
like love it because it's just that good, So
Right.
I think
Right.
that's okay. I think that's okay.
Yeah. No, I think there's proof in the pudding as far as why something is popular or something's pleasing to the ear or inspires somebody. So I think it's just age old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a good question though. Like, where do you
draw the line?
The line.
Yep.
It's the same thing as the debate right now as far as live music is how much pre-recording is too much pre-recording.
Oh,
How much sequencing?
That's
how much
huge.
sequencing is too much sequencing and whatnot.
Right.
And so Ants and I have our theory on that, and we use it in our live shows, and for specific reasons. But some people, don't agree with us. They say, oh, whatever. The typical knocks on it. So how much is too much? I think that's a great debate as well.
is that something we want to get into?
Good.
I mean that could be using backing tracks.
That may be one for another.
Yeah, that's a whole nother.
I can always
video.
cut this video. I can always we could do 2 videos. I could cut it out.
Oh yeah, we could do another one on that.
That would be another hour on that one.
Or the gripe of using iPads on stage too. Well, why don't you memorize the damn lyrics or whatever? I always use the excuse like, me and Danny, we average about 280 shows a year. We play in 2 bands full time. Each band we have like a running 200 songs plus our own songs that we wrote. And we're at the age where it's like, I'm 52 years old. Sometimes I'll forget like the first word of a lyric that I've played 1,000 times, and it's just age, you just forget like a quick word, and then it's nice to have that little lyric sheet or whatever, like, oh, it's that, okay. But as long as you're not focused on your iPad looking at chord charts or lyric sheets for the performance, I don't see what, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
well, we did that before. There were iPads out in the 90s.
Yeah, we had lyric sheets on the
cheat
monitors.
sheets. We had little cheat sheets, so we could learn a song or whatever. So we did that then too. So it's nothing new. But that's another one that we could do another video on, something like that.
Yeah. And and it might even put to rest some of the frustrations of, like, say a new band or a new musician that wants to get out there and perform and try to be a full-time musician, but they're scared because they hear the hemming and the hawing from different camps. Should I use an iPad? Should I not? Should I use this? Should I use a real amp? Should I use a digital modeler? Should I use this?
Well, and all those things actually relate to AI anyway. It's just different progressions of AI.
Yeah.
Because like exactly what you just said, like, so yeah, in choir, when I was in high school, I had to read from a binder with my sheet music in front of me. Like, I'm still reading what I'm doing. It just so happens to be on an iPad,
in digital format. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But there are lines to be drawn as well. I think that the conversation about backing tracks and stuff like that would be an awesome conversation, because
I think that's a good one.
There's a lot of people who also don't know the purpose of it, and so they're just beating you up just because they're being jerks or whatever, and they don't really have to be. So they're really just misinformed, and this could be a very informative conversation. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you circle back to the whole AI thing, I didn't want to come off as, me and Ants being the old guys, get off our lawn, as far as technology goes and things like that. I think there's, like I said, with some of the songwriting stuff, some of the songwriting apps and things like that, I think there is a purpose for it. And I don't think you're cheating the system, as you would be with the songwriting app that we looked at the other day, as far as the video goes. So I didn't want to come off as the old curmudgeon saying, my way is the right way, or my way is the only way to do it. But I do think it is frightening how good it has gotten, and how good it has gotten in a short amount of time, and where it's going to be in a year from now, 2 years from now. It could be something that we could be discussing again.
I mean, because we can sit and talk about this all day about how we disagree with it, but the access that people have to it isn't going to actually stop them from trying, to do something about it. Because that would take a lot of like self-control and discipline to be like, I'm not going to use any AI. I'm just going to sit here and write. And you can. But I just think that because it's so accessible, people are going to really, I think, hop onto it. And because technology advances, like you said, every year so rapidly, it's like, I don't know if you can slow that down, or I don't know if you can make people go back to like how they recorded in the 70s and 80s, where they did a million takes on one vocal. I just don't know.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. And the biggest part of that is price. How much cheaper is it for us to record an album in our homes as opposed to going to a studio? You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this opens up a whole other can of worms that is very valid. Because it costs. I'm not going to lie to you. I was messing in a different genre. I was messing with like a disco genre a couple weeks ago, and I bought a plugin on Sweetwater or something that was like, disco keys, disco groove drums. And I was like, I want to create this whole thing by myself. And it was fun because I could do that. But I didn't sit and play all the parts, but I'm just dragging and dropping stuff into my DAW. And I was like, I don't know about this, but it's so much, like, it cost me $40 to download that plugin as opposed to $40,000 doing an entire album, hiring all the players. And so, super valid.
And that could bring up the topic of how much is too much of using AI and instrumentation, like when you're writing songs. Like say, I'm not the greatest keyboard player in the world, but sometimes I utilize GarageBand. There's strings on there, there's piano stuff on there, and sometimes, a lot of times, I've used those those sounds
True.
for
Yeah.
songwriting. And I think it's more because, yeah, I can't perform it like that, but I can't afford to hire somebody like JC all the time to play keyboards on that stuff. So I have I have it available to me, like just using it as another tool for songwriting. I mean, can that be a bad thing for songwriting, using the AI instrumentation application?
Yeah, yeah, using a keyboard, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe not just using it as like, textures for the song, because a lot of the stuff that we write is guitar driven, but you want to add a little bit of keyboards on there, a little bit of strings, a little bit of this or that. But instead of actually performing it, you just assign one button, that's the chord or whatever.
I think that also too, that's why bands are like a full band is like dead. Uh like you don't really have these like four-member bands unless it's more like in the rock genre. But even then
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
dying out because the songwriting was communal and cooperative, and each person is really freaking good at their thing. And even if I don't know, like even people who try to do that today, it's just like weird. It doesn't seem as like authentic, I don't know.
You
So
don't you
there
don't you don't need it. You don't need to be a full band. You could be,
Mhm.
a songwriter or a couple of songwriters, and then just hire musicians to go out on the road with you. But you primarily just two people writing these albums.
Right.
And you're right. You don't need a band anymore.
Interestingly though, if you look back into like the maybe the Renaissance, or what time period was that? Like with Bach and stuff like that, those composers, they wrote all the music and then
Mm.
hired the orchestration to play like
Oh
in
yeah.
how many an 80-piece orchestra. So I mean, that was their time period of how they decided to
True.
write music with one person.
Right.
Right.
So I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
it could evolve into something really cool that could require more people. I don't know. But it's just weird right now with one person wearing all the hats, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think too, like in this day and age, there's not a lot of, like, I remember when I was getting ready to graduate high school, Danny got me into Cottony Act, and the band that became Guild of Ages. And I remember there was so many musicians out there. There was so many amazing guitar players, so many everything. I mean, even the bands were amazing. Everybody, there was this competitiveness. Like everybody wanted to have the better guitar player, better songs, better big background vocals. And there was so many musicians in that time period. Whereas and everybody was willing to put in the work to get that good, And I think it helped because we didn't have the technology we have now, the social media, all those distractions. Whereas now you don't see that this younger generation with that kind of a bench, wanting the next group of musicians, like we saw in the late 80s, or even in the 80s and 90s. And it seems like a lot of people they don't want to put in the time to work on their craft. And I think they're using the, work smarter, not harder kind of theory.
Cheaper.
But yeah, and it's
Mm-hmm.
cheaper, and it's less drama dealing with your bandmates, and I could do it all at once, but maybe I just know a few chords I can kind of sing. I have all this technology at my fingertips where I can program drums, I can program the keyboards or this or that, use AI to make my voice sound great, or use AI to write me a song, and I'll do it from my bedroom and make it look like I recorded it all.
Yeah, you know, the saving grace may be, as far as the whole anyone being able to write a song, or you know, our fear of where songwriting, the AI thing is that I know that my kids in school right now, their teachers have AI that they use to find out if you've used AI as far as, you know, writing something, or you know,
Wow.
for so they're using AI against AI to find out if you've used AI. So maybe there's something on the horizon
Yeah.
for us to go, is this AI generated? Okay, you're not really writing it yourself, you used AI, you know. So maybe that'll be our saving grace after all.
Yeah, I
I
like
think
that.
I think too a saving grace will be like maybe people like artists like us who are annoyed by the process of AI, and so it might inspire us to beat a product of
Mm,
what AI is putting in it. It would make us, you know, an artist work harder at what they're
right.
doing and just be
Yep.
diligent in what they're doing, and just say like my stuff is as good, if not better.
Right.
Or maybe it's not, but you still try. You still try
Yeah.
to
You
put
can.
like I think it's good that you put out something that is authentic, even if it's like I just think that you to be inspired to beat the AI system, you know, and still be human about it
Right.
is I think important because like this subject does make me be like, well, okay, so to be honest with you, like yeah, like some of the music that I've written in this last year has been all me. I've used a producer, but I've written all the things. I did program drums or whatever. Um, so I'm the one man person, but it's like I think that you can still do that. You know, it's like it's like a composer, I guess. You know, you still do
Sure.
the thing.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Um, and I think that that's okay. I don't think you need a full band to do anything. I think that's cool if
No.
you do, but as long as you're creating some original ideas, or like I hired another guitar player, like I want your guitar feeling on this. I'm not trying to MIDI the guitar. I really do want a human playing on this. So I think I think that's okay to do that.
Yeah. Yep. I
Well,
think it is too. I'm with you. Yeah. But I think ultimately, what it'll be is just the human connection, like you said. It's going to be that, and that's something that everybody gets from music, is some sort of connection, you know, played by a human, created by a human. Therefore, you know, there's a connection there.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, I mean, be careful what you wish for, because you might have to play it out live one day. And if you're not able to dish out the goods, you know, from this AI generated thing, people will see through the BS, and there goes your career. There goes your reputation. At least, you know, the three of us can sleep at night saying, you know, knowing that, you know what, I know how to sing. I know how to perform in front of people. I know I could perform the song that you wrote live.
That's a whole skill in itself, just to perform in front of people.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, you can do that all day long in your bedroom, but when you get in front of people, it is a whole other
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Yep.
And that's been a personal struggle for me, is to be in front of people because I'm naturally a little bit introverted and shy, and to yeah, to mimic songs is easy, but to do it in front of people is just a whole other skill that is like you only get that by doing it. You can't do it unless you're actually in it, you know?
Yep.
And you will fail. You will
Now,
fail, but
Yep.
do you
and
keep
thing
going or do you back down, you know? Like
Right.
so it's just
and you'll run into obstacles. You'll run into, oh, the sound of the room, this isn't right. Oh man, I broke a string. Oh man, my mics went out. Oh my god, my PA went out. Oh my god, my voice is jacked. How do I get,
or I'm sick
or
today.
I'm
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sick. You know, and I think the more you do it, the more you learn how to deal with those obstacles, because they're going to happen. I mean,
Yep.
everything has happened to me and Danny in the last, since 1989, 1990. I mean, you know, you name it, we've already been through it. And when it happens, yeah, it's like scary, and you're like, oh my god, this is going to be the worst gig ever. But you just learn how to deal with it.
Well, that too, and like, so if you also watch an artist story like online or something, like the uprising and the fall of Britney Spears or Michael Jackson, it's like there's a whole story to their journey, and like you just aren't going to get that from AI either. Like,
No.
Right.
How boring is that to see, you know, a robot do everything perfectly throughout their entire career? It's like
Yeah.
you want to see the rise and fall of someone. You want to see people weirdly, you know, want to see a struggle. They want to see them overcome though too. And I just think, you know, as an artist too, the progression of like their songwriting then as opposed to now, like Ancy said that before, and that's been a struggle for me. But people want to see your journey with it. They want to see if you can tough it out or if you fail, or so I mean, and it's up to you as the human to decide what you do with that. So
Right. Right. Yeah.
it's
Good
very
stuff. Yeah.
interesting.
So Asha, you have a show coming up. We hear you have a show coming up next month.
Actually,
Want to
we
talk about that?
all collectively have a show coming up May 2nd. You guys get your tickets. It's at the Buffalo Rose, May 2nd. So Danny and Ants are in a band called Guild of Ages. They have a bunch of original music that they're going to play. I don't remember the time exactly, but I'll put the ticket link in the comments so that you guys can get that.
Okay.
And then my original stuff I'll play after that. And then actually me and Ants, because he's the guitar player, he wrote some of the music, most of the music that I'm playing for that show. So Anthony's on double duty that night. So I'm really excited for that. And I'm so excited that you guys were willing to be on this little bill with me. So that's fun.
As it's approaching, it's getting more and more exciting, and it's been exciting for us to relearn some of the old songs that we haven't played in quite a long time, and maybe some stuff that we never played live before that we had to put back together. So it's been good for the soul to go back and listen to some of the old stuff that we recorded to play for this show. So it's been pretty cool leading up to it. So we're really excited.
That's awesome. I'm excited to hear because I don't know if I've listened to all of the original music you guys have put out. So
yeah, well, we'll have plenty of it that night. And for all the people who always, you know, ask us to play more originals during our cover shows and things like that, you know, we can play a little bit, you know, a song here and there, but we're kind of bound by, you know, the parameters of being in the club and keeping people on the dance floor and making people have a good time. So nothing kills a cover night more than an original song in the middle of it and clears the dance floor. We've known that for many years. And it's always been that way, but this is a chance for us to get out there and play an all original show, which we haven't done in such a long time. So I haven't done that in such a long time here in Colorado, in Denver. So that'll be kind of a treat. I don't
think we haven't done that with Steve or Jim here. I don't think we've ever done an original show
since 2014.
Wow.
Oh no, we even did covers then too.
Yeah, it was covers.
So yeah, we haven't done one here. We've just done the one in England and then the one in Germany.
Yeah, 2018.
So you guys,
nothing here.
Yeah, you guys toured to Europe and played your original music there. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, 97, 98.
Those are the two tours, but the one in 2014 in England, that was a festival show that we got asked to do, and the one in Germany was 2018. Yeah. That was the last time we did an original show.
Wow. And that's when I first met you guys at Black Hawk.
Tailgate. Yeah, Black Hawk. Yeah, you were with the Boogie Machine. That's right. We were playing after you guys.
70s band. Yeah.
That's right.
That's right.
You guys went on right after us.
The Monarch.
Yep, the Monarch.
Mm-hmm.
That was like my third gig ever. So I was up on the stage in my little sparkly boots and my fake afro, like, scared, you know. So
looking at the back of the bar and all the slot machines and
yeah, they don't care that you're up there.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Well, cool, you guys. This was a really awesome conversation, and would love to have more, like a continued conversation on some of these things. I think it would be really cool.
Maybe
and
this
helpful.
maybe this should be like a trilogy video. You know, this is like the first episode, and then we could talk about you know, using iPads on stage, and then the next one we could talk about backing tracks, and so it could be like your little trilogy video with us. And
a pretentious discussion on AI. Yeah.
yeah, it's an interesting topic. I mean, when you really think about it, it's like, wow. And it's funny because I brought it up to our drummer Steve, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I've known about it all this time." And I'm like, "You have?" Like, "Oh yeah, my brother, he works for it." Or it's like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh yeah, he knows how to do this." And it's like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
And his brother is a really
we're
good
only
musician.
tackling the music part of it. We're not even tackling all the other aspects of it. So,
All right.
Good combo.
Okay.
Until the next time. Now we got more. We got a lot more to say.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
This was fun. All right. We'll see you
All
guys
right.
soon.
Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, Asha.
Bye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
See
Bye.
you.